You're wondering how to build your child's confidence. I'm here with Vicki today to share some strategies. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to improve your child's confidence. There's a lot of different things that contribute to confidence. Probably number one on the list is being able to see yourself doing hard things.
Right.
Vicki, you've talked about the concept of grit.
Yeah, I
before.
think that's such an important concept. A lot of the times we compliment children on performance when, or really kind of outcomes, when we need to be complimenting them and encouraging them to stick with a hard task, to have grit, to follow through even when it gets really hard, or especially when it gets hard.
Regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
This is backed up by some research that was done years ago by a team at our local university, Brigham Young University, and they were studying self-esteem. We've thought for years that, well, that's tied to achievement, right? What you can accomplish in your life. That's not what these researchers found. They found that seeing yourself doing hard things, regardless of the outcome, was more predictive of positive self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is absolutely true.
Yeah, and it kind of starts a different conversation going between parents and children. It's being willing to talk about failures as a part of the process of learning and achieving what you're going for. And, usually we're like, what did you accomplish today? What did you get done? How did you succeed today? When I think it's almost just as powerful, if not more so, to say, what failed today? What did you learn from it? What are you going to do next?
I keep thinking of that movie. Do you remember Meet the Robinsons?
Right.
One of my favorite Disney Pixar films because it included this particular idea. There was a scene where one of the characters had an epic fail. Okay, just everything just went wrong. And the family starts cheering and clapping and they're applauding and they say, "Oh, you made a great mistake." Mistakes are awesome. You can learn a lot from your mistakes.
From success, not so much. But it is just so important to capture, title, rebrand failure, and then that ability to push through it and keep doing hard things.
There's some practical things that you can do to give kids this opportunity. And remember, it's not about the outcome, so we don't need them to successfully complete what we're going to ask them to do next. We want to follow through with a principle-based approach that helps to actually build their confidence and their self-esteem.
Now, that being said, we do want to give them a task that we know they have the ability to do. Now, again, remember, the most important thing is not that they complete the task. They do need to be able to do the task, and then you give them the opportunity to do it.
You already have a whole list of things that you want them to do. So pick something from that list that they have the ability to do. Vicki, when we did the Parenting Power-Up program, do you remember we talked about this? And there's a test that you can apply. Here's the test. I call it the 5K test. And you ask yourself, if I offered my kid $5,000 to do what I just asked him to do, would it happen? Whatever $5,000 represents for your child. I remember I was working with a child who had autism, was on the autistic spectrum. And he didn't care about money, but he really loved pickle chips.
Yeah. So you got to find your child's $5,000.
Whatever it is for your kid. If the reward is great enough, would they do it? See, this answers the question, can they handle it? Are they capable? Do they have the ability to do this task?
And, there's a couple of things. One, you don't want to hover. Back off and let them do it. But also, I think, be willing to just kind of distance yourself from the method in which they get it done. As long as it's not breaking family rules that you've set up, let them be creative. I mean, maybe it's even enlisting help from somebody else.
Hiring someone else to do it for them.
Yeah.
That's totally legitimate. I hire someone to clean my office.
Yeah.
Vicki, I want to emphasize something that you just pointed out because it's almost worthy of being another step on its own, and that is to back off. Don't hover over them. We've got Klein and Fay in the Love and Logic books used to talk about helicopter parents.
Right.
And you picture, in fact, I can hear a helicopter going overhead right now. Maybe you picked that up on the audio. Helicopter parents hover over their children, standing hands on hips, waiting to see, to make sure that they do it.
Or even to be there to rescue them when they don't.
Or to remind them
what they're supposed to accomplish.
Oh, we call it reminding. What do our kids call it? Nagging. You're riding on me. So we want to get away from that and allow them to experience this, because we're kind of secretly hoping that they blow it. Why?
Good.
I know, right? Why would you hope that your kid blows it?
Going back to the Robinsons, because in the process of failing, they have an opportunity to learn some really, really great things.
And they get to see themselves doing a hard thing.
And see themselves being problem solvers. Because I don't know a single adult out there that had everything in their life turn out the way they thought it would. We have to become problem solvers. That's part of where our confidence comes from, is we know we can handle a tough situation that comes to us, and when it doesn't work, we are creative enough to find a way to work around it.
Right. Vicki, I was just thinking about how this applies to relationships too. We're at a point where our kids are grown up and they're getting into permanent relationships and marriages and families of their own. And one thing that we've noticed is they do much better if they know they can take on hard things with their spouse.
Right.
In fact, it gets us a little nervous if they haven't faced anything hard, because they need to learn that experience. So apply this to the parenting stage wherever you are. Instead of hovering and nagging or reminding, you back off. You allow them to use their creative power to take on this hard thing. It's powerful.
But then remember, if they fail, or when they fail.
When, probably.
When they fail, right? Process it with them and then give them the opportunity to do it again.
Rinse and repeat, right? Because this isn't the last time that they're going to have an opportunity to face whatever challenge it is that you just gave them. Let's say that you ask them to do a very reasonable chore around the house. Take out the garbage or whatever, right? You give them the task that they can handle. You back off, don't hover and remind. When they blow it, you allow appropriate consequences to do the teaching. And empathy, can we add that part too?
Yeah, that's really important.
Because sometimes we replace empathy with anger because we really wanted them to succeed instead of kind of secretly hoping that they blow it. And then when they blow it, we get mad at them. And then we bawl them out and bail them out instead of having appropriate consequences in place. And then, like you were saying, Vicki, give that same task again. What an affirming message that is. That, hey, you are smart enough to learn from your experiences. As your parent, I trust you to learn whatever you needed to learn from this. Let's try it again. Vicki and I mentioned during this episode the Parenting Power Up. If you haven't checked it out yet, take a moment to do that. When you get enrolled in this course, you become more confident as a parent, and you have the tools that you need to move forward with some parental power. Your kids are going to love you for this.
Her head was down, face locked onto the phone.